Hi everyone. In this presentation, Ben and I will discuss the features of our Pokedex API. Begin by looking at some diagrams that summarize our project. Our database has three models. The log table, which capture interactions between the users to our API. The users table, which stores all users. And the Pokedex table to store all the entries of the Pokemon. Our system also includes some routes such as login and registering routes and reading Pokemon entries. These routes are secured by our middleware here, which does authentication and authorization. And we also have some utility functions to help improve code readability and separations. Usage of our Pokedex API can begin at the registering or login stage. Users that have not registered or logged in will not have valid tokens for our middleware to verify their identity, and hence will be denied access to all of our endpoints. So let's register or log in if we have an account and get our token to serve as our ID. So with this token, serve as our ID. And we may notice here that the password has also been encrypted in our database. So let us test the CRUD operations as a professor or researcher level user. So let's try to read Pokedex entry for Charizard. And we are able to read the Charizard Pokedex entry. So let's see all the Pokemons that currently exist in the Pokedex right now. And we see 3 Pokemon, Pikachu, Charizard, and Blastoise. Let us see if we can check our logs. And indeed, we are able to see our personal logs. Let us now create a new Pokedex entry. So in this particular entry, we are making Squirtle. Let's add our token. So let us check the list of all Pokemons, and hopefully we should see Squirtle being added to the Pokedex. And indeed it has. Now let us make an update to the Pokedex. Now let's update Pikachu's entry and change its type to become fire. So let's verify that. Let's get all Pokemon. And we see that we were able to update the system and change Pikachu's type to become fire. Now let's see if we can delete a Pokemon entry. In this case, we want to delete Pikachu, so let's do that. So let's check. And indeed, Pikachu entry has been deleted. I will now hand over to Ben to discuss other features that we implemented.
Hi, I'm Ben, and I'm going to talk about our user authorization and our user versus admin privileges. So we have 3 tiers of users essentially. We have regular users, professors, and the admin, which is Professor Oak. And normal users can read from the database. They can access individual Pokemon from the Pokedex or all of them, but they can't write to it. Whereas professors can write to the database. They can also read from it. They can even access their own logs to see back, which Pokedex entries they've updated or created. And all users can update their own profile information. But the admin, Professor Oak, can read from the database and also write to it. He can update other people's user information. He can also update his own. He can see all of the logs, not just his own, so you can see which professors updated, created, which Pokemon in the Pokedex. You can also see which users have signed up, what their emails are, if they're an admin, which they shouldn't be because he's the only admin, things like that. Our logs table contains records of every single write to the database, essentially. Every time a user is created, user is updated, Pokemon is updated, created, deleted. That's all in the logs table, as well as the user associated with it. So if you were to create a Pokemon in the Pokedex, you'd be associated with that entry, unless someone else updated it, in which case they would then be associated with that Pokedex entry.